Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to another episode of 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After. This is season 4, episode 10, Sparks Will Fly. A lovely subscriber by the name of Alana has an Etsy store called AZEBoutique. She sent me some amazing earrings that say Black Girl Magic on them. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a good shot of it because my camera doesn't want to focus on it, but she gave me these earrings. On the front it says Black Girl Magic, and on the back she stamped my name. So it says Wah on it, and it's got a little cowrie shell here at the end. I just love handmade items. It feels very personalized, and I think it's so sweet that she put my name on the back, which I was not expecting at all. I will have a coupon code for you guys down in the description box for you guys to get 15% off on her Etsy page. Again, it's AZEBoutique, and I will have all the information down below. So cute. It came like this with a little cardboard hanging piece. It also came inside wrapped in bubble wrap inside of this little jewelry bag, which I find it's such a great touch to put on items that you send out to people. So thank you so much, Alana, and you can get all the details down in the description box. This head wrap was also sent to me too, but when I get the information from the person, if she wants to be shouted out, then I will let you guys know, and that'll be down in the description box as well. All right, so you guys don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and let's jump right into this episode. So first we're going to start off with Larissa and Colt. Guys, this went from bad to worse in 2.10 seconds. We are dealing with very depressed cast members, and it just isn't fun anymore. So we have Debbie taking Larissa to see Adam, who is her lawyer, to talk about this second arrest that she just had. She's interested in seeing what Colt said to the police because she tells Adam that the police had him in handcuffs because he was the one who took her phone away, and she was the one crying out for help. But then Colt said something to them. They immediately took the handcuffs off of him and handcuffed her. So she right now is in full lockdown quarantine mode. She doesn't want to deal with Debbie. She doesn't want to deal with Colt. She thinks there are a lot of liars and drama people, and she's over it. So she's just trying to protect herself until her court date. So Adam tells her this doesn't look very good for her, but he's going to fight for her. He's going to give her a plea of not guilty. There's an arraignment the next day in the morning. She doesn't have to attend, but he will call her and let her know what's up. Larissa gets back in the car with Debbie. She doesn't want to talk to Debbie. Debbie's trying to ask her questions, and she's being very standoffish and is only giving very simple answers and also digging through her nails, girl. She just doesn't want to talk to Debbie. So she gets back to the house and she puts herself in quarantine again with the lights off in the bedroom, her head under the cover. She's not talking to producers. She's not talking to Calico. She's talking to no one. Whenever the arraignment day is, Debbie goes to pick Colt up from work, and he gets into the car and they have a very buddy chum greeting. They're so sick of Larissa, and they both can't live under this oppression anymore, and she's just such a dark black cloud on their lives. Colt and Debbie both want to know what's going on with Larissa and this arraignment, but Larissa doesn't want to tell them. She feels like she's fighting this by herself, and she's just not going to communicate. She wants to keep everything civil, and the way she's handling that is by not talking to them. So then when Colt gets home from work, him and Debbie have a heart-to-heart in the garage. A fly lands on his face, and I couldn't get over it. It was so gross, but you know, it happens. But I took a picture of it so you guys can see. Okay, so basically both both Colt and Debbie, that should be their name, both Colt and Debbie have a heart-to-heart about how this can't go on anymore. Debbie is tired of this drama in her house. Larissa is black hole that's causing all this stress. He says that he doesn't want to deal with her anymore because he doesn't want a wife who's that way, and he just wants to live in a peaceful home. So Debbie basically tells Colt to do an ultimatum because they want her out. Whatever has happened to her arraignment, they feel very entitled to know what's going on, and they don't want to give her space. They feel like she's being disrespectful by not telling them. I don't know what I feel about that. I feel like if she doesn't want to tell them and she doesn't want to talk about it, then I don't think she should have to, but I don't know what else is riding on this or what else is up in the air. So Colt then tries to go and talk to her. He goes into the room. It's dark in there. He tries to turn on the light. Girl, she has disconnected the light switch. No lights in that room. I think she's just been in there crying. And Larissa says, Colt, I need you to respect my space. I need you to respect me and my privacy, and I don't want to talk. And he's like, but this is my room. What about my respect? What about my privacy? And she doesn't respond to him, and he's like, well, okay, then fine. And then he leaves. And I was just like, did he just try to pick a fight with her in order to get her to talk to him? Did he really think that bringing it and turning it around and talking about himself and what about him was going to work? If that was his tactic, why did he give up so easily? Oh, okay, fine, then bye. I guess she's really upset then. She doesn't even want to fight with me. And I'm just like, okay. Just seems very manipulative and crazy. Something is up with their door. It looks like someone kicked the door in because the door has is broken where the latch is supposed to attach to the wall, girl. You know, and he's like, Larissa, talk to your husband. Did he just refer to himself? Like, it's just ridiculous. I think that he wants to be a husband and wants a wife, but doesn't know how to be a husband and wants a specific type of wife that he can't afford to keep. It's just so weird that Colt and Debbie are so annoyed that she doesn't want to tell them what's going on. They feel so disrespected that she's not communicating with them, and I just don't understand why. And it feels simply because Colt is the one who paid for everything, so he should know, and that's what Debbie feels like. Colt is the one who got her the lawyer. Colt is the one who did all these things, so he should know. And I'm like, yeah, because he brought somebody to this country who couldn't work. Of course Colt had to pay for all this shit. Like, what did you guys think was gonna happen? He has to pay for her. This is what he signed up for. It's annoying. Next couple that we're going to talk about is Chantel and Pedro. We just have to get this elephant out of the room. Everybody is wrong in this whole situation. Pedro is finally on his home base and he is feeling real bold and brassy, like Froggy and leaping, just doing all the things that he shouldn't be doing because he knows that he didn't like it when it happened to him. We start off with Obed and Chantel going to meet a group of Pedro's friends, okay? Now there's two things that are happening. Chantel brings Obed because she doesn't want to be in that situation by herself with his sister and their friends. The other situation is that his friends and his sister have no idea that Chantel is coming to meet up with them. So producers have set up a little sneaky situation. Chantel walks into this bar and his friend jumps up and is like, Chantel! Like, so excited to see Chantel. And Pedro is not. I mean, he's like, okay, baby. And he like gets up and walks towards her. I mean, she's looking so banging in that dress, and I wish that she would just stand up straight and have some confidence. Like, the girl is just awkward. Her whole, like, under boob was just caved in as she walked in. I mean, like, girl, like, they paid money for them tetas. Stand up with them. They look heavy. All throughout this entire episode, her tetas look heavy. She's in the gym, they look heavy. Like, a girl, I'm just like, I need, you know, she has extra support. You need to just make it seem like they're natural and keep it going. But anyways, lockjawed Chantel comes in there. Her hair looks good. She looks good. And she sits down and she says hi to everybody and she's trying to be cordial, but she's like physically the most awkward person I've ever seen in my life. And his friends pick up on that and they pounce. So one of the friends inappropriately is like, so what's going on? What's the problem? Because for whatever reason, Coraima doesn't get the fuck up and move away from Pedro, and Pedro doesn't go and sit next to Chantel. So Chantel is sitting with Obed on one side and Pedro is sitting on the other side with Coraima in between him and his sister. This is so inappropriate. I'm pissed. I'm pissed that he doesn't get up and sit next to his wife. They're talking and they bring up the fight. Nikol talks about the bruises that her family gave them. Chantel you can see her trying to like have conversation and speak, but everybody is coming at her at one time and she's trying to navigate it all. And Nikol brings up the fight. She feels like she's got the force of her gentes behind her and she's like, mira, 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 like shoving this video into Chantel's face because Chantel said that she deserved the bruises that she has pictures of. So Nikol is like, let me look at the pictures, trying to find the pictures of the bruises that she got from the fight, which I feel like everybody left that fight with bruises, physically or emotionally. And even though it was River's fault, this was not the time to bring it up in front of a group of people who you've been hyping this situation up to this entire time. So Nikol is like, look at the bruises that I got from your family. Chantel's like, ¿Qué tú miras? She goes full Paul in this situation and is feeling so angry and so attacked and so justified that she in front of everybody is like, you want to show me pictures of the bruises that you deserved? And then the friend who speaks English is like, oh, so you're saying your family beats up on Nikol? And then everybody explodes. Oh my God. And then Nikol comes in and she's like, mira, mira, this is what you deserve. This is what you deserve. Mira, mira. And she shoves her phone in Chantel's face and shows video of her brother behaving poorly. And everybody is up in arms. Oh my God. All of the dudes, all of his homeboys, all of his primos, they feel like Nikol is so out of pocket, out of line, that they are like jumping up. Obed says to Pedro, you're really gonna let your sister get involved in your marriage like this? Pedro's looking like Ricky Ricardo in some crazy episode of I Love Lucy. It just went hamburglers banana bang, okay? Obed leaves with Chantel. Chantel is not like cussing or screaming anything. She's just like super awkward and like slinks away and like walks off hips first, like body caved in, and she's like on her phone. I'm like, who are you talking to? Are you texting Winter? Are you texting your mom? Like, what's going on? So she feels completely disrespected. She didn't recognize that the person he was dancing with was the woman who was sitting next to him at that moment, which I was like, I wanted to jump through that screen so bad and fight Kodaima. Like, so bad. Kodaima's telling him not to go. Like, it's just too much, girl. The whole friends are having all kinds of say in this, and his guy friends are like, go talk to your wife, go talk to your wife, go talk to your wife. And the girlfriends are just like, no, don't do it, don't do it. And I'm just like, y'all are absolutely wrong for this. Wrong. Chantel keeps saying to Pedro, he catches up with her, and she says, let's have this conversation in private. I just found out that you're cheating on me, and I don't want to have this conversation in public. And he's like, well, then no, she doesn't want to have the conversation then. So he walks away and tells his friend that she doesn't want to have the conversation. His friend's like, no, get back over there, get in there. This is your wife. This is your marriage. None of us should be involved in this. Get into it. So when one of his friends hears her say, I want to talk to you, but I want to talk to you in private, that friends go, okay, she says she wants to talk to you. We'll leave. And so they leave. It's a lot of kerfuffle outside of this bar. There's cameras, there's lights, but they get back to the hotel and she says that she doesn't want to talk. I was like, then what the hell? She's like, I want to talk tomorrow. And he's just like, whatever. And he leaves. It was like completely anticlimactic. She lays on the bed, pretends to cry. And then we see them the next day. So the next day he gets there and she decides that she's going to blow off some steam in full face and go downstairs in a cute little outfit and work out. So she's like pretending to work out. He gets there. She like folds up her yoga mat and he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, I'm blowing off steam. And then they start to talk and they don't really talk about it. She just says, I feel like you cheated on me. I got video of that. And he tries to like backpedal and act like he's not completely wrong, because when they went to the hotel originally last night, he was about to tell her everything and be truthful. But now that he's had time to think about it and get riled up and angry again, he's going to come back on the defense when he knows that he is absolutely wrong. So they make some plans to go have a conversation or talk about it in private some other time. Girl, I don't know. She says it's not the right time to ask Pedro about his sister and mom. She's going to wait until they're, I guess, off on a beach. Girl, I don't know what they're gonna do, but it's a lot going on. Pedro's wrong. Chantel is actually right in this situation, and Nikol is an absolute B. I tried to be on her side for as long as I could, but when she was like, I don't know why Chantel got upset about the video, I thought she was gonna be calm. I was like, no, you're dirty for that and you're wrong, and your brother should be pissed off at you for that. That's some shady shit. That's the kind of shit that Day Day did to Michael in Love After Lockup, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Okay, so the next couple that we're going to talk about is Russ and Pao. I completely fast forwarded through most of this because it just felt like trumped up drama. Our first scene with them is Pao sitting on the bed with Axel like right there, and then her mom on the bed too with full-on shoes on in the bed, and that's how I knew this shit was fake and set up. So some shenanigans were going on, because there is no way that mom would be laying across the head of the bed with her shoes on if it wasn't some setup situation. So she decides she's gonna call Juan and show Axel to Juan, because Juan's her best friend, and we also know that Juan and Russ got into a huge argument, and then Russ decides he's gonna come in and sit in on the conversation and listen, but doesn't want to interact with Juan. And then I started fast forwarding it. So I was just like, who cares about all this? There's obviously gonna be some insults that are gonna be said about Russ and his character, and then Russ is gonna get upset and be mad at Pao for being friends with Juan. And Juan is good friends with Gladys, who is Pao's mother, and they have a cute little exchange, and I was just like, great. Fast forward. The next thing that we have is Ashley and Jay. Girl, I had to watch it because I knew they were gonna make it seem like he tried to beat her up or something. I didn't really watch it. I just saw her push him away and tell him to get out, and him try to grab for her, I guess to hug her or to get her to stop. Whatever, her homegirl jumps in, somebody calls the police, it's a whole wreck. As soon as the police was called, I was 100% not on Ashley's side. I don't like this storyline. It feels fake. It's just this whole entire setup with him, with the police there and him crying. I know he thought some shit was gonna go down. I thought some shit was gonna go down too. I'm glad that the police weren't hotheads, but who called the police and why? So let's move on from them. The next couple that we're going to talk about is Asan and Nikol. So Asan and Nikol weren't in last episode, and then we got them in this episode, and it was super boring. They're at a juice shop. May is coloring. She still has that awful purple hair. Like, this is how you know Nikol is real sad about Grenada. That hair color is the saddest thing I have ever seen. It does not look cute. And it's been so long since she's spoken to Asan that he doesn't even know that she's dyed her hair. So she says it's been a couple of weeks since he canceled Grenada on her, that he's still dealing with family issues. So she calls him. Maybe he is dealing with family issues because he looks like he's been, gained a little weight. He looks a little full in the face. She's like, hey, I got some of my money back from Grenada, which is great. So I can take that money and put it towards my trip to Morocco. And he's just like, don't come here. This is not a good idea. Give me a month. And she's just like, okay. And she's like, you think we're going to get married? And he's like, yeah, probably. And she's like, well, fourth time's the charm. And they kiki and laugh about that. And he just continues to speak in his like same pattern of like, and then maybe just a little bit, and then like, not so much this, but like maybe just a little bit. And it was just like a lot of that. And somehow we're supposed to eke out what he's trying to say to her. What I figured is basically, don't come to Morocco. If you do come, that's on you, and we probably won't get married. And she's like, well, May's good, but she is going to have to start school soon, so we need to like figure this out. And he's like, yeah, we need time to think about it, and maybe like a little later, but maybe a month, maybe more, forever, maybe. And she's just like, okay. And then she's telling the camera how hopeful she is about this situation. And we know that this is not going anywhere, girl. I know she still thinks that she's Asan's fiance, but he's not going to marry her. There is no reason why he hasn't already married her. So the last couple that we're going to talk about is Andre and Livvy. So I can't be on Andre's side anymore. He's a misogynist. She said something dumb. And he says, oh, woman's logic. And I was just like, oh, damn, he's an asshole. So we start off with Livvy, and she has gone ahead to her parents' house because they are having a little party for the father coming into the US. She gets there a little early to have a talk with her family and tell them to be on their best behavior. And they're a little taken aback by that because they're like, what are we going to do? And she doesn't know, but I guess she just really wants this to go smoothly. It turns out her sister-in-law had the baby. So her sister-in-law is sitting there with a cute little baby there. And so those two cousins are going to be very close, hopefully. That makes me happy. The parents are just like, no, we're ready. Everything's good. So Andre shows up and he has to interpret. I hope there's another interpreter there, but he interprets for his dad. They welcome him with open arms. He's very blown away about the setup, the food that they have provided for him, which looked all delicious. And I was like, where did they order that from? I want it right now. I wanted them to show me more of the food, actually. It was like shrimp. It was like, looked like it was lobster tails. Girl, I just wanted it all. It was like a nice evening. They even had fireworks for him. Like they went into the backyard and there was a fireworks show for the father and he was blown away and he was very appreciative. And Andre was a little jealous. Andre felt like, you didn't show that to me. You guys are so two-faced, but you show that to my dad. And I was like, that is the wrong attitude to have about it. And it's great that they had a conversation with the dad too, because the dad says that Andre is a little too aggressive and he has a hot temper and he's a hothead, and that Andre needs to do a better job with making the situation good between Chuck and himself. Andre's father feels like Andre is in the fault and he needs to do a better job about making sure that the families are aligned and that the families are there to come together. And that's all Chuck has been trying to do and everyone's been trying to do. Yeah, I mean, they didn't give him the fanfare because of his bravado and his assholeness. Like he definitely came in guns blazing, ready to tell his family what him and his wife weren't gonna do and specifically what she was gonna do. So he rubbed that family the wrong way from the jump. Okay, and there was really no turning back because he refused to acknowledge himself. And Livvy refused to acknowledge how aggressive and pig-headed and misogynistic he is. When she says, I don't think you've ever seen fireworks. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, I've never seen fireworks. Like, America's the only place that has fireworks. That's a very dumb American thing to say, right? But woman logic, I was like so offended by that. And I was just like, that is ridiculous. How come she didn't stop him right there? They zoom in on her face of her looking like slightly embarrassed and slightly like, oh, my husband. And I'm just like, no, you need to correct that fucking shit in the moment. You can't let that misogyny live. You're going to be raising a little girl. Like, absolutely not. When the family asked Andre about him meeting his dad in New York City and how was that and did you guys cry, was it emotional? And Andre's like, nah, Moldova, we don't cry. And so then Becky's like, ask him if they cry. Do they cry in Moldova? And the dad is like, well, yeah, we do cry, but at emotional times. And Becky's like, It's just like Andre is just puffed up and so like full of hot air and bullshit, and his dad is not that at all. And Chuck is even surprised like how Andre could have come from such a peaceful seeming man. Like, what's the mom like? maybe it comes with age. Maybe it just comes with age and wisdom. I don't know. But Chuck is very respectful to the dad and shakes his hand and gives him a hug. And is really trying to make up and be the peaceful person that he wants this to be. And probably trying to show Andre at the same time, like, see, you don't have to be a dick all the time. Like, we can get along. You just have to, like, put some of that pride away and stop being an asshole. All right, you guys, so that's the end of this episode. Let me know what you thought. Have a kiki and a conversation down below. Give me your impressions on Jay and Ashley's situation, even though I didn't really watch it. I want to know, for those of you who did watch it, what did you think? And always remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.